In the winter of 2009, I was fixing a boiler in the basement of my house. It leaked, and the water spilled all over the basement. It was about 20 degrees below zero, and I was soaked and cold. My family and my children lived with me, and I didn't have any money and I needed to heat the house. And that was the least of the problems, because my debts at the time exceeded $300,000, including my student loan, mortgage on the house, and over $150,000 in credit card debt. I couldn't pay the bills, I had no money, and no one in my family could help me. I had spent all my savings trying to save my business. I tried to get new customers and bought advertising, but the calls weren't from customers. They were from creditors who threatened and wanted their money back. A terrible situation. Every caller wanted something from me, so I reached out for help. The Wisconsin utilities fixed my heating, and shortly thereafter, I filed for bankruptcy. From that point on, the situation began to clear up. Within 10 years, I had started 5 companies, 3 of such turned out to be successful. I was able to give my community 100 times as much as they had given me. The failure taught me a valuable lesson, which I will tell you about today. Looking back, I realized that the worst part of this whole bankruptcy thing was my arrogance and pride caused by the fact that I had read a bunch of business books and got my MBA with honors from a university in Texas. I made a lot of serious mistakes. What was I counting on? That I could cover my business expenses with the help of credit cards and pay it all off in a few weeks or months, making tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it didn't work out for me. After I had stepped over my pride, the next task was not a pleasant one either. I had to do the paperwork. You have to write out everything, including the creditors and the amount of the debt. Normally you have to go to a bankruptcy lawyer. My friend was just such a lawyer, and he helped with the paperwork. Then you have to meet the creditors in court. I considered this to be the hardest part, but it turned out to be one of the easiest. And here is an interesting point. I arrived at the hearing early, wearing a nice suit and a tie, which is understandable since I had a company that made suits. So I wait for 15 or 20 minutes, and finally the judge asks, "Who do you represent?" I said myself, and the judge says, "I thought you were a lawyer, and we were waiting for your client to show up." It turned out I was the best dressed, and no one thought I was bankrupt. That's an example of how good clothes can make an impression. So the first lesson I learned was, if you want to change the world, first change yourself. It was my pride and unwillingness to face the truth that led to my bankruptcy. I mean, what was I thinking when I wasted tens of thousands of dollars on untested and unnecessary employees? Yes, I understood the risks, but that kind of money is too high a price to pay to test my assumption. Frankly, I hired them because I like feeling like an important business guy, the CEO of a successful company. In reality, I was lacking self-control, and lack of self-control is like if a city had no walls to keep it from attack. And here I will quote Lao Tzu: "Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power." By the way, if you like the video, share it with those who might find it useful and push the like button. The second lesson I learned from my failure is the best things in life are free. What matters is your relationship with your wife, partner and girlfriend, children, parents and friends. The funny thing is that when you don't have any money, you find a lot of free ways to spend your time. And I spent it with my kids. We walked around the parks, I still have pictures, and I can use them to refresh my memory of all those beautiful memories. I had friends drop by, I cooked for them, and we spent time together. By the way, I still have that house. I like to make phone calls. Most people don't spend time on calls. I had time because I wasn't shopping or traveling, and I was just working on relationships. Looking back, I realized it was a great time when I got close to a lot of people that were important to me. I was also able to see who was my true friend, who was just interested in how I was doing. Some members of my family said, "You can move into your place if it comes to eviction." Some friends said, "You have a pretty good business. but tell me when you have a good idea, and I'll think about investing in your next company. I believe that the value of my life is determined by my relationship with other people. And you know what? All you have to do is set your priorities right. Gentlemen, I want to hear your opinions in the comments. What have the difficulties taught you? I will choose a few of the best commentators and send them a commemorative coin. And the third lesson is how to be happy. It doesn't take much for a man to be happy. This may sound hypocritical on the part of someone who wears a Rolex and fancy glasses, but my personal life is very simple. For more than 13 years, I have been living in the same old farmhouse. We have 1.5 bathrooms for 6 people. Take even my truck, which has been with me for 23 years. I take care of it, and it might need a paint job. You don't have to look up to the people around you. And I don't mean that you shouldn't buy nice things. Just make sure that your money is used in the best way possible. I'm saving for a treatment, and I have a dream house that I'm saving up for. And I like charity. And the opportunity to buy a bunch of gift certificates and giving them away means a lot more to me than buying a new truck, which certainly might have some cooler components and not have a crack on the hood. But you know, the current one is doing a good job too. Dear friends, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Let's grow together.